Welcome home, Mum and Dad. Glad you arrived home safely and in one piece. Can't wait to hear all the stories of your adventures and see all the photographs. See you at the weekend. Love, Rosie and Katie. Dear Stephanie and Pierre, congratulations on the arrival of your new baby girl. We can't wait to meet little Sophia. In the meantime, here are a few little outfits to keep her as trendy as her mother. Lots of love, Rosie and Katie. Happy 8th birthday, Josh. Lots of love, Rosie and Katie.
Hi, Katie. Thanks for your card and present that you gave me for my birthday. I guess my dad told you guys about Bethany being pregnant. That means I'm going to have a brother or sister. I think I'm the only person around here who thinks it's cool. She's 4 months gone, they say. Gone where, I don't know. I only saw her yesterday. My mom just laughed when my dad told her, but then she can't have thought it was too funny because she was cursing too. She was saying she bets your mom is real happy about it. But she's wrong because your mom's not happy with Dad, is she? Dad is sad because he said all the girls in his life are mad at him. Your mom is, my mom is, and Bethany is too. The other night he told me that he should have told your mom sooner, and he should have done something about it. I don't know what he was talking about. I hope he starts acting normal again. Bethany is mad at him because he won't marry her. I heard them fighting about it. Bethany was crying and saying that Dad didn't love her, and he was saying that he did, but that he needed to take things slower. She said how much slower could they take things, seeing as it was 15 years since they started going out. Dad said that he would mind her and the baby, but he said it was too soon to get married. She said she wanted them to buy a house near her parents, and Dad said she only wanted to do that so she could lunch with all the other ladies. He said he supposed she wanted a summer house in Nantucket as well, and she said of course she didn't. She preferred Martha's Vineyard. I've never met with Martha, and I don't know how she would feel about us just moving onto her vineyard all of a sudden, and I hate grapes. Dad said that they needed to get to know more about each other before they got married. Bethany said he knew everything there was to know about her, and that they had known each other since they were 16, and that she was still the same person, and that she was pregnant with his baby, and if he didn't marry her, her dad would be really angry and would fire him. I think Dad should marry her. I want a brother, and Dad really, really likes his job. I'll fill you and Toby in on more stuff as soon as I know. Because I'm only here at weekends, I miss all the good stuff. Thank your mom for my present. From Josh.
Dr. Williams rewarded. Reginald Williams, MD, was presented with an award last night at the National Health Awards in Boston. He was nominated through a highly selective process that recognises those who have made major contributions to the advancement of the medical sciences and public health. This award is considered one of the highest honours in the fields of medicine and health. He was accompanied to the ceremony by his wife, Miranda, his daughter, Bethany, and her newly announced fiancé, Dr. Alex Stewart, cardiosurgeon at St. Jude's Hospital in Boston.
You have received an instant message from Rosie. Rosie, you wanted me to learn about this in the newspapers first.
Alex, I'm sorry, Rosie.
Rosie, you're sorry? You get engaged and you let me read about it in a newspaper. What the hell has happened to you these days?
Alex, Rosie, all I can say is sorry.
I don't understand the way your mind works, Alex. You don't even love her.
I do?
Well, that's convincing.
I shouldn't have to convince anyone.
Only yourself. Alex, you told me you didn't love her. In fact, a few months back you were planning on breaking up with her. Gee, I wonder what happened to make you change your mind all of a sudden.
You know what happened? There's a baby involved now.
That's bullshit. The Alex I know wouldn't marry a woman he doesn't know for the sake of the baby. That's the worst thing you could do to the poor child. Raise it in an environment where the parents don't even love each other. What's the point of that? You're not with Sally and things with Josh work out fine. It may not be the most desired position to be in. Everyone wants to play happy families, but it doesn't always work out that way. This is ridiculous.
I'm a weekend dad to Josh. I don't want a repeat of that. It's not right.
Marrying someone you don't love is not right.
I'm extremely fond of Bethany. We have a great relationship and get on well.
Well, I'm glad you and your future wife get on well. If you don't think this through properly, Bethany will be another Sally. Another failed marriage is not what you want.
This marriage won't fail.
No, you'll just be miserable for the rest of your life. And that's great, just as long as the tongues of disapproving people can't gossip about you.
Why should I take advice from you, Rosie? What on earth have you done in your life that makes you such an expert on telling me how to live mine? You live with a man that cheated on you for years, and you kept taking him back time and time again. What do you know about marriage?
I know enough not to go racing up the aisle with someone else I barely know or love. I know enough to not allow my life choices to be influenced by my desire for money and power and prestige. I know enough not to marry a man so a bunch of rich people will smile at me and tell me how great I am. I wouldn't marry a man to get my picture in the paper, my name on an award trophy, or for some dumb promotion at work.
Oh, Rosie, you make me laugh. You have no idea what you're talking about. You've obviously been spending too much time in your flat doing nothing but concocting conspiracy theories.
Oh, of course, because that's all I do. Sit around my council flat doing nothing, being the poor, uneducated single mother that I am, while you and your Harvard pals sit in your gentlemen's clubs smoking cigars and patting each other on the backs. We may live in very different worlds, Alex Stewart, but I know you, and I'm sick of seeing who you've turned into. So what would good old Reginald Williams have done if he had learned that his daughter was pregnant and that the fool who was responsible wouldn't marry her? Oh, the shame that would bring on the family. How the people would talk. He would just have to let you go from the hospital, have a few words with his fellow colleagues on the hospital board, and bye-bye Alex. But at least now, she's got the ring on her finger and you've got the job promotion and we can all live happily ever after.
Not everyone walks away, Rosie. They might in your life, but not in mine.
Alex, for Christ's sake, not marrying Bethany isn't walking away. As long as you're there for the child, then you're not walking away. You don't have to marry her.
Look, I'm fed up with all this, Rosie. With you constantly checking up on me having to explain everything to you. You're not my wife or my mother, so give it a rest. Who says I have to run all my life decisions by you anyway? I'm tired of you nagging at me and moaning at me about people I see and places I go. I can make decisions on my own, you know. I'm a grown man.
Then for once in your life, act like one.
Who are you to insult me and lecture me when you haven't done a thing right in your life yourself? Just do me a favour and don't bother getting in touch until you have something decent to say.
Fine. Well then, I think you'll find you'll be waiting a long, long time. Rosie has logged off.
Dr. Reginald and Miranda Williams invite Katie Dunn to join them in celebrating the marriage of their beloved daughter, Bethany Williams, to Dr. Alex Stewart at the Memorial Church of Harvard University, and a reception at the Boston Harbour Hotel on the 28th of December. RSVP Miranda Williams. Address overleaf. From Julie Casey to Rosie. Subject: Facts for you. Don't want to disturb you while you're so busy working. How is Ruby? But a fax just arrived in my office a few minutes ago. It wasn't addressed to you, but on reading it I discovered that it could only be for you, as which of my other employees would give out my fax number for their own personal use? There's some sort of childish scribbled note on the top of the article, and having a bit of a flashback, I presumed it was Alex coming back from the past to haunt me and ridicule me, but luckily it's not. I think I can just about make out a Form Josh signed at the bottom. Come into my office and collect it. Oh, and while you're at it, divert all your calls to my office. Bring 2 cups of coffee and a packet of cigarettes in with you.
Social lives. by Eloise Parkinson. For those of us who were lucky enough to attend the wedding of the year, or surely at least the wedding of the week, we have lived to tell the tale of extravagance, sophistication, and splendor that was displayed for the lucky 300 guests of Bethany Williams and Dr. Alex Stewart. No expense was spared at the wedding ceremony that took place at the Memorial Church of Harvard University, where vibrant displays of red roses and red candles lined the aisle, like lights illuminating a runway for the exquisite couple to take off to their future life of happiness together. Bethany, 34, was looking flawlessly stunning, as always, in an elegant white one-piece dress designed especially for her by the famous friend of the stars, and mine, Jeremy Durkin. The solid-boned bodice was embellished in 10,000 pearls and disguised that 5-month pregnancy everybody is whispering about. The ballerina-style full skirt, made up of layers and layers of soft tulle, swished as she floated up the aisle on the arm of her proud, prominent father, Dr. Reginald Williams. Miranda Williams looked every bit the perfect mother of the bride in her scarlet-red Armani trouser suit, accompanied by her fabulous Philip Tracy hat that almost stole the spotlight from her daughter. Catwalk models, and very new friends of Bethany's, Sarah Smythe and Haley Broadbank, acted as Bethany's 2 bridesmaids and wore sexy red silk spaghetti-strap dresses that clung to their barely-there curves, 6 roses resting between their French manicured fingers. The bride's bouquet was made up of 6 red roses and 6 white roses, and was caught by none other than moi. Her usually flowing long blonde hair was tied back tightly in a French bun that sat low on her head and helped the mother-to-be look every inch the perfect bride. At the top of the aisle, a confident-looking Prince Charming looked down on his princess proudly, dressed in a classic black 3-button cutaway coat with white wing collar and red tie, accompanied by a single red rose in his lapel. Everything was certainly rosy on this day. The extravagant reception was held at the Boston Harbor Hotel, where the finest speech by far was made by the best man, 8-year-old Josh Stewart, son of the groom from a previous marriage to college sweetheart Sally Gruber. The day lived up to the expectation and standards of social lives, and it was clear for all who witnessed the newlyweds dancing for the first time as husband and wife that this marriage was forever. May they live a long, happy, rich, and fashionable married life together. As for me, your favorite wedding columnist, I'm off with my bouquet to find myself a beau.
To Alex, happy 34th birthday. Your loving goddaughter, Katie. Dear Rosie, happy birthday, daughter. Love, Mum and Dad.
Dear Alex and Bethany, congratulations on the birth of your baby boy. We wish you every happiness for the future and are delighted that Josh has the brother he wished for. Rosie and Katie. Happy 14th, my little angel. Have a good night at the disco tonight and remember no drinking, no sex and no drugs. Be good and remember to play hard to get. Joke. Lots of love, Mum. You have an instant message from Rosie. Rosie, who is this boy I heard you were kissing and slow dancing with on Friday night, Katie Dunn?
Katie, can't talk, Mum. Mr. Simpson is teaching something extremely important for the end-of-year exams, and it's vital that I listen.
Rosie, come on, spill the beans. Who was the boy?
Toby. Hi, Rosie.
Oh, Toby. Good timing. I was just quizzing my daughter on the mystery man at the disco on Friday night.
Toby. Oh, ha ha. News travels fast.
Katie, don't tell her, Toby.
So it's true?
Yep.
Yeah. And Toby was snogging the face off Monica Doyle all night as well.
Oh no, Toby. Not Moany Monica.
Ha ha.
Why do you two always call her that? She's not a Mona when she's with me.
That's because we don't kiss her in front of everyone at school discos.
Ha ha.
So come on, darling daughter. Bond with me and share details of this budding romance.
His name is John McKenna. He's 15, he's in the year ahead of me, and he's really nice.
Ooh, an older man.
I know, Mum. I've got taste.
What do you think of him, Toby?
He's okay. He's on the school football team. He's good.
You'll have to keep an eye on him for me, won't you?
Absolutely.
Good. Now you two get back to work. I expect you to get A's in this subject.
Ruby, so what are you going to do for the next 2 months now that the kids are off school? You're so lucky getting such long holidays. What are you going to do?
Rosie, I'm not too sure. Julie mentioned something about being able to do adult courses at the school. She says I should take a course in hotel management like I always wanted to do. Like it's that simple.
Why can't it be that simple? Look, Rosie, you don't know until you try. Ever since I met you, you've been going on about working in a hotel. You're obsessed with them. Your home is like a tribute to hotel merchandise. You can barely open the bathroom door for all the stolen mats in the way. I can't claim to understand your fascination with them, but I know that working in one is an absolute dream for you. Most people dream of becoming millionaires or of travelling to space. Most people's dreams are unattainable. Yours isn't. It's a very normal, everyday person's kind of job.
Julie said that if I don't take the course, she'll fire me. And she said that when I finish the course, she's firing me anyway.
You need to listen to her. She's been a good teacher to you over the years.
But Ruby, it takes 3 years to get a degree, and it's expensive, and I'll have to work by day and study by night. It'll be tough.
Oh, but, Rosie Dunn. What's the problem? Have you got anything better planned for the next 3 years of your life? Dear Rosie, apologies for the delay in getting back to you. The past few months have been very busy for Alex and me indeed. Adjusting to married life and a newborn baby, all in a matter of months, is hard work. We were delighted to receive your little card, and we hope you and Katie are keeping well over in Ireland. Best wishes, Bethany, and Alex, Theo, and Josh too.
You have an instant message from Rosie. Rosie, you're right, Ruby. It doesn't look like I'll be getting up to all that much for the next 3 years of my life. Why not educate myself? I've nothing better to do. You have an instant message from Rosie. Rosie, hi Julie. I've signed you up to be one of my instant message buddies. Whenever I see that you're online, I can send you messages.
Julie, not unless I block your name from my list.
Rosie, you wouldn't dare.
Julie, why would you set up an instant messaging service with me when I am in the next room?
It's what I do. It means I can multitask. I can speak to people on the phone and also do business with you online. What is it that you do, Miss Casey? All I see you doing is terrorising innocent children and having meetings with pissed-off parents.
That's all I do, Rosie, you're right. Believe me, you were one of the worst kids to teach. I hated calling you in.
I hated coming in.
And now you've added me to your messaging list. How times change. By the way, I'm having a little get-together for my birthday next week, and I was wondering if you would like to come.
Who else is going?
Oh, just some other kids that I used to scare the hell out of 20 years ago. We love to gather and reminisce about the days gone by.
Seriously?
No, just a few friends, a few members of my family for a few drinks and a few nibbles for a few minutes to mark the occasion, and then you can all leave me alone.
What age will you be? I only ask so I can buy you a birthday card with a number on it.
You do and you're fired. I'm going to be 53.
You're only 20 years older than me. I used to think you were ancient.
Funny, isn't it? Imagine, I was only your age by the time you left this school. The kids must feel that you're ancient now too. How's the studying going?
It's tough working, studying and being a mother all at the same time. I end up staying up till all hours of the night pondering life, the universe and all that's in it.
Don't worry. We've all had those days, and believe me, by the time you get to my age, you stop caring. Is there anything I can do to help?
Yes, actually, a pay rise would be a terrific help.
No chance. How's the saving going?
It would be going fine if I didn't have to feed, clothe, educate my child as well as pour rent money into the shoebox I'm living in.
That always seems to get in the way of things, that whole looking after your child part. Have you spoken to Alex yet?
No.
Oh, Rosie, you are both being ridiculous. It's been over a year now. I spent my life trying to separate you two from each other, but now the fun is over. Tell him Ms. Big Nose Smelly Breath Casey has given you both permission to sit beside each other again.
That'll never work. He never listened to you anyway. And it's not like we're not in contact at all. Katie keeps in touch with him all the time and I send cards for every occasion and he does the same back. Every few months I get a postcard from a different exotic country with boring weather reports from him, and when he's not holidaying, he's working all hours. So we're not completely ignoring each other. It's a very civilised kind of argument we're having.
Yes, apart from the fact that you don't even talk. Your best friend has a 6-month-old baby that you haven't even bothered to meet. All I'm saying is that if you let this carry on much longer, the years will multiply, and before you know it, it'll just be too late.
Dear Rosie and Katie Dunn, season's greetings from St Jude's Hospital. My wife, 2 sons and I hope that the year ahead brings you and your loved ones good health and happiness. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from the Stewarts. Alex Stewart, MD.
To Alex Stewart, MD, RIP, blah, blah, blah. May the coming year be filled with warm wishes for you and your family. Best wishes, Rosie Dunn, RESPECT.
You have an instant message from Alex. Alex, what do you know about respect?
Rosie, ooh, talking to me now, are you?
Alex, it's been long enough. One of us should be adult enough to make contact. Remember, I'm not the one who started this in the first place.
Yes, you did.
Rosie, no, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Oh, please, last year I told you Bethany was pregnant, at which point you went apeshit. And for your information, I proposed to her one night before we went to an award ceremony. Bethany said yes, and naturally being excited, she told her parents at the table, as any normal person would do. Her father was presented his award, and during his speech he announced that his daughter had just gotten engaged, as a normal, proud father would on just learning that his daughter was to be married. The press was there. They went back to their desks and reported on the evening in time to make the next day's papers. I went out and celebrated my engagement with my fiancée and her family. I got home to bed and woke up the next day to phone call after phone call from my family wanting to know why the hell I hadn't told them I was getting married. My inbox was full of emails from confused friends, and I was just about to deal with them when I got an instant message from you accusing me of doing all sorts of things. So I sent you and Katie a wedding invite anyway, thinking that even though you disapproved of my choice of wife and concocted pathetic stories about why I was marrying her, you might still have behaved like the friend you claimed to be by attending my wedding and being supportive. Clearly you couldn't do that and stopped all forms of communication for months, so I didn't think it was necessary for me to continue making an effort when you obviously couldn't be bothered. But in the meantime, I have received your array of Christmas cards, Happy New Year cards, St Patrick's Day cards, postcards, and gifts for Theo, and likewise I hope you have received mine. So I apologise for the last card you received. Your name was on my mailing list, but this particular card was intended for my patients and not you. Anyway, I didn't think you would appreciate the family photo in front of the Christmas tree. It's not something I imagine that's being displayed on your mantel.
I didn't receive any wedding invite.
What?
I got no invitation to your wedding. There was one for Katie, all right, but none for me. And Katie couldn't very well go because she was only 13, and where would she stay? And I couldn't bring her over because, frankly, I couldn't afford to.
Stop. Now let me think about this for a moment. You received no wedding invite?
No, just one for Katie.
What about your parents?
Yeah, they received one, but they couldn't go because they were visiting Steph in Paris, and...
OK, yours wasn't sent there by mistake.
No.
But you were on the list. I even saw your invite on the kitchen table.
Oh.
So what happened?
Don't ask me. I didn't even know there was an invite.
There was one.
OK. Who posted them?
Bethany and the wedding planner.
OK, so somewhere between Bethany walking toward the postbox and the invite actually going in the slit, something happened to my invite.
Oh, don't start, Rosie. It wasn't Bethany. She's got much better things to be doing with her time than hatching plans to get rid of you.
Like doing lunch with the ladies?
Stop.
Well, I'm in shock.
So you thought all this time that I didn't want you at my wedding?
Yes.
Oh, but why didn't you say something? An entire year and you didn't say something. If you didn't invite me to your wedding, I would at least say something.
Excuse me, why didn't you ask me why I wasn't there? If I invited you to my wedding and I noticed that you hadn't turned up, I think I would at least say something.
I was angry.
Me too.
I'm still angry about the things you said.
Answer me this, Alex. Did you or did you not tell me only months previously that Bethany was not the one for you and that you didn't love her?
Yes, but...
And were you or were you not going to break up with her just before she announced her pregnancy?
Yes, but...
And were you or were you not worried about your job when you refused to marry Bethany?
Yes, but...
And were you or were you not...
Listen to me, or read me. Reginald Williams is not my boss. It doesn't work like that in hospitals. He couldn't just fire me out of the blue.
Yes, but I bet he could make life really difficult for you at the hospital.
He could.
And would he have?
Yes.
So, I really don't think that I was that far from the truth, Alex Stewart.
That perhaps may be about 1% of the truth, but coupled with the fact that I wanted to be part of Theo and Bethany's life.
So if you did invite me to your wedding, and I was partly correct on what I said, why did we spend the entire year sending tacky cards to each other?
What I want to know is where the hell your wedding invite went to. Friends again?
I never stopped being your friend.
Me neither. Well, unfortunately I have to go, because my baby is pouring his breakfast on his head and massaging it into his scalp with a look of pure concentration on his face. I fear it may be nappy changing time again.
Oh no, I don't envy you that job. You have an instant message from Rosie. Rosie, 16? My little angel is 16? What the hell am I supposed to do now? Where's the rule book?
Ruby, why? It's not like yesterday she was 2 years old, you know. You have to have known this was coming. You did have a total of, let's see, 16 years preparation. This shouldn't come as a shock to you.
Rosie. Ruby, you unsentimental witch. Do you not feel anything? Are you numb to all emotions?
Ruby, I just don't look at things like you do. I don't think much of ages or birthdays. They're just another day to me. They don't symbolise anything but a bunch of definitions and generalisations people have created to make conversation, debates and media discussions. Katie is not going to go off the rails because suddenly she wakes up one morning and she's 16. People do whatever the hell they want to do at any age they fancy. Last month you were 36. That means you're 4 years from 40. Do you think that the day you reach 40, you will be any different than you were at 39, or 41 for that matter? People create little ideas about ages so they can write silly self-help books, stick stupid comments in birthday cards, create names for internet chat rooms, and look for excuses for crises that are happening in their life. For example, the man's so-called midlife crisis is just a bunch of hype. Age is not the problem. It's the male brain that's the problem. Men have been cheating since they were apes. Insert your own joke there. Since cavemen times. And again there. All the way up to now. The age of what is supposed to be the civilized man. That's the way they were made. Age is not the issue. Your baby will remain your baby past the point when she has her own little baby. Don't worry about that.
I don't want my baby to have a baby until she's grown up, married and rich. I mean, when I think of the things I did on my 16th birthday... Actually, I can't remember what I did.
Why not?
Because I was being incredibly juvenile and stupid.
What did you do?
Me and Alex forged our mum's signatures and wrote notes to school saying we would both be absent for the day.
Coincidentally.
Exactly. We went to some old man's pub in town where ID wasn't a necessity, and we drank all day. Unfortunately, it was ruined by the fact that I fell and hit my head, had to be raced to hospital in an ambulance where I received 7 stitches and my stomach was pumped. The parents were none too pleased.
I bet they weren't. How did you fall? Were you doing some of your funky moves on the dance floor again?
Actually, no. I was only sitting on my stool.
Ha ha. Only you could fall on the floor while you were sitting down. Very dangerous, that sitting down nonsense.
I know that's weird, isn't it? I wonder how it happened.
Well, you should ask Alex. He was there too, after all.
Good idea. He's online now, so I'll ask.
It's not that bloody important. But any old excuse to talk to him, I suppose. I'll hold on here and try to make myself look busy while you ask.
You have an instant message from Rosie. Rosie. Hi, Alex.
Alex, hi there. Do you ever do any work? Every time I log on, you're on too.
I'm just chatting to Ruby. It's cheaper this way. We don't have to answer questions at work about the telephone bill. An internet bill is more accepted, and typing makes us look like we're busy. Anyway, I just wanted to ask you a quick question.
Fire ahead.
Remember on my 16th birthday, I fell and hit my head, blah, blah, blah.
Ha ha, how could I forget? Are you thinking of this because Kate's birthday is coming up? Because if she's anything like you should be afraid. Be very, very afraid. What should I get for her anyway? A sick bucket?
Age is only a number, not a state of mind or a reason for any type of particular behaviour.
OK, then. What's your question?
How on earth did I fall and hit my head on the floor while I was sitting down?
Oh, my lord. The question.
What's wrong with my question?
Rosie Dunn, I have been waiting 20 years for you to ask me that question, and I thought you never would.
What?
Why you never asked is beyond me, but you woke up the next day and claimed to have no knowledge of what had happened. I didn't want to bring it up. You had brought enough up the night before. Ha ha.
You didn't want to bring what up? Alex, tell me. How did I fall off my stool?
I don't think you're ready to know.
Oh, shut up. I'm Rosie Dunn after all. I was born to be ready for anything.
OK then, if you're so sure of yourself.
I am. Now tell me.
We were kissing.
We were what?
Yep, you were leaning across on your high stool, kissing me. The stool was very wobbly and lodged unsafely between the cracks of a very old, uneven, tiled pub floor, and you fell.
What?
Oh, the sweet nothings you whispered into my ear that night, Rosie Dunn. And I was gutted the next day when you woke up and forgot, after me holding your hand while you puked all night.
Alex.
What?
Why didn't you tell me?
Because we weren't allowed to see each other, and I didn't want to tell you in a note. And then you said you wanted to forget everything that had happened that night, so I thought that maybe you vaguely remembered and you just regretted it.
You should have told me.
Why? What would you have said?
That's really putting me on the spot, Alex.
Yeah, sorry.
I can't believe it. Because I fell, we got caught and I had to stay home for a week, while your punishment was to start work at your dad's office where you met Bethany, the girl you said you were going to marry.
That's right, I said that.
Yeah, you did.
Well, I actually said that just to test you, but as you didn't seem to care too much, I went out with her anyway. That's funny. I had forgotten I had said that. Bethany would love to hear that. Thanks for reminding me.
No. Thank you for reminding me.
You have an instant message from Ruby. Ruby. Come on, Ms. Bumps. I need to look like I'm busy here. You find out what happened yet?
Yes. I found out I'm the biggest idiot in the whole entire world.
I waited around for that. I could have told you that ages ago.
Dear Katie, for my daughter, happy sweet 16th. Love, Mum. XXX.
For my girlfriend, happy sweet 16. Lots of love, John. To Katie, happy birthday, you pain in the ass. Another few months and those braces will be off. Then I won't be able to tell what you've eaten for dinner. Toby.
Dear Mum and Dad, I'm never speaking to Rupert again. Sweet 16, my arse. Katie demanded that I give her the money that I would have spent on her present so that she could go into town and pick her own clothes, which suited me fine because then I didn't have to bother spending sleepless nights trying to think of the perfect gift that she would inevitably hate and hide under her bed. Anyway, she walked into the flat, hand in hand with the big friendly giant, John, beaming from ear to ear, so I immediately knew something suspicious was going on. She lifted her top, lowered her trousers an inch, and there it was. The tattoo from hell. An awful, dirty, disgusting, very ugly, I've just realised I'm beginning to sound like you, Mother, kind of tattoo. It sat there on her hip bone, sticking its tongue out at me. Mum, it's ugly. Mind you, it was bleeding and beginning to grow a scab by the time I saw it. Apparently, Rupert said his clients only needed to be 16 to get a tattoo, which I strongly disagree with, so I came downstairs to check the internet. It turns out he's right, but if I could just find some sort of loophole that would allow me to kick his ass. What makes it even worse is that I was trying to study for my final exams, and the drilling coming from the tattoo parlour downstairs was really distracting me. What I didn't realise was that I was listening to the mutilation of my own daughter's body. It was kind of difficult giving Rupert a piece of my mind because I couldn't express my hatred of tattoos without offending him, seeing as he is an actual walking tattoo. It would be like slagging one of his family members. The tattoo is the least of my worries. She also got her tongue pierced. Rupert threw that part in for free. She sounds like she's got hot potatoes in her mouth when she speaks. So no wonder I got such a shock when she walked in with a scary look on her face and said, and then proceeded to lift up her top. I suppose it could be worse. They could have gotten tattooed with each other's names, and there are worse tattoos Katie could get than a tiny little strawberry the size of my thumbnail. Perhaps I'm overreacting. How on earth must you and Dad have felt when I told you I was pregnant? Now that I think of it, perhaps I should give Katie some sort of award. Anyway, I should go back upstairs and face the very loud banging, music, plus I need to continue with my studies. I can't believe I've reached my final year. 3 years flew by, and while it was virtually impossible studying by night, working by day, and trying to be a mother at both those times, I'm glad I didn't pack it in the 100 times a day that I said I would. Imagine, I'll have a graduation ceremony. You and Dad will finally be able to sit in the crowd while I collect my degree in my unflattering robe and hat. It's only 15 years later than originally planned, but I suppose it's better late than never. However, I won't get to the graduation ceremony if I don't pass my exams, so no more distractions. I am going to study. Love, Rosie. From Rosie to Alex. Subject: Dad. Something awful has happened. People at work said you were in surgery, but please, as soon as you get my messages and this email, can you ring me? Mum called me just a minute ago in tears. Dad has had a massive heart attack and has been rushed to hospital. She's in huge shock, but she told me not to travel over to her because my first exam is starting tomorrow. I don't know what to do. I don't know how serious it is. The doctors won't tell us anything yet. Can you maybe ring the hospital and see what's going on? You understand all that stuff. I don't know what to do. Please, get this email on time. I don't know who else to call. I don't want to leave Mum on her own. I don't want Dad to be alone either. Oh, this is so confusing. Oh God, Alex, please help. I don't want to lose my dad.
From Alex to Rosie. Subject: re Dad. I tried calling you, but you must be on the phone. Just stay calm. I rang the hospital and had a word with Dr. Flannery in the hospital. He's the doctor looking after your dad, and he explained Dennis's condition to me. What I suggest you do is pack a bag for a few days and get on the earliest bus you can to Galway. Do you understand what I mean? Forget about your exam. This is more important. Keep calm, Rosie, and just be there for your mum and dad. Tell Stephanie to come home too if she can. Keep in touch with me during the night.
Rosie. Alex, he's gone. I can't believe he's gone.
Alex. Oh, Rosie. I'm so sorry for you. I'll book a flight today, and I'll be in Ireland at the weekend.
Dear Alex, coffin sizes can be no wider than 76 centimetres, can be made of chipboard with approved veneers and plastics for cremation purposes. Did you know that? Ferrous screws are acceptable in small numbers, and wood braces will give extra strength, but must only be placed in the inside of the coffin. The coffin must have the full name of the deceased on the lid. Wouldn't want to get anyone mixed up, I suppose. The thing that I really wished I hadn't learned was that the coffin should be lined with a substance known as creme film, or use absorbent cloth or cotton padding because apparently fluid can leak from a body. I didn't know any of this. There were forms, lots and lots of forms. Form A, B, C, F, and all the medical forms. No one mentioned anything about D and E. I didn't know you needed so much proof to show you were dead. I thought the fact you've stopped living and breathing was a huge giveaway. Apparently not. I suppose it's like going away to live in another country. Dad just had to get his papers ready, get dressed in his Sunday best, arrange his mode of transport, and off he went to his final destination, wherever that may be. Oh, how much Mum would have loved to have gone on this particular trip with him, but she knows she can't. She just kept repeating to everyone at the funeral, "He just didn't wake up. I called him, but he wouldn't wake up." She hasn't stopped shaking since it's happened, and she looks like she's aged 20 years. Although she looks older, she seems younger, like a lost little child who looks around her and doesn't know where to go, like suddenly she's in a whole new place and she doesn't know the way. I suppose she is. I suppose we all are. I've never been here before. I'm 36 years old and I've never lost anyone close to me. I've been to 10 funerals in my life, and they were of distant relatives, friends of friends, and family of friends whom my life is none the worse off without. But Dad going... God, that's a big one. He was only 66 years old. Not old at all. And he was healthy. What causes a healthy 66-year-old man to fall asleep and never wake up? I can only comfort myself with thoughts that he saw something so beautiful that he just had to go. That's the kind of thing Dad would do. There's something completely unnerving about seeing your parents upset. I suppose it's because they're supposed to be the strong ones, but that's not just it. Ever since people are kids, they use their parents as some sort of measurement for how bad a situation is. When you fall on the ground really hard and you can't figure out whether it hurts or not, you look to your parents. If they look worried and rush toward you, you cry. If they laugh and smack the ground saying, "Bold ground," then you pick yourself up and get on with it. When you find out you're pregnant and feel numb of all emotions, you look at their expressions. When both your mum and dad hug you and tell you it's going to be okay and that they'll support you, you know it's not the end of the world. But depending on the parents, it could have been pretty damn close. Parents are the barometers of emotions for children, and it has a domino effect. I had never seen my mum cry so much in all my life, which scared me, and made me cry, which scared Katie and made her cry. We all cried together. As for Dad, he was supposed to live forever. The one who could open all the jar lids nobody else could, who fixed whatever was broken, was supposed to do that forever. The man who let me sit on his shoulders, climb on his back, chase me around while making monster noises, throw me in the air and catch me, spin me around so much until I felt dizzy and fell over laughing. And in the end, without being able to say thank you and a proper goodbye, my final memories of him turn into coffin sizes and medical forms. I'm still over in Galway with Mum, in the wild, wild west, but it's a beautiful summer and it doesn't feel quite right. The atmosphere doesn't suit the mood. There's the sound of children's laughter floating up from the beach down below. There are birds singing and dancing around the sky, swooping low and catching their fresh meals from the sea. It doesn't feel right to love the world and see such brightness when something so awful has happened. It's like hearing gurgling babies echoing in the church at the funeral. There's nothing more uplifting than to hear the sound of an innocent child being so happy in a place that people are sad. It reminds you that life goes on and on and on, just not for the one you're saying goodbye to. People come and people go, and we know this happens, yet we get such a shock when it does. To use that old cliché, the only certainty in life is death. It's a certainty. It's the one condition of living that we're given, but we often let it tear us apart. I don't know what to do or say to Mum to make her feel better. I don't suppose there really is anything that would accomplish that, but watching her crying to herself all day tears me apart. I can hear her pain in her tears. Maybe she'll just run out of tears. Alex, you're a heart doctor. You know the heart literally inside and out. What is there you can do when someone's heart is broken? Have you any cures for that? Thanks for coming over to the funeral. It was so good to see you. It was just a shame that it was under these circumstances. It was good of your parents to come too. Mum really did appreciate it. Thanks for getting rid of what's-his-name too. I really wasn't in the mood to have any discussions with him at the church. It was good of him to come, but if Dad had seen him, he would have leaped out of that coffin and thrown what's-his-name in his place instead. Stephanie and Kevin headed home a few days ago, but I'm going to stay on for a little while longer. I just can't leave Mum alone. The neighbours are being so good to her. I know she will be in good hands when I do finally leave. I've missed all my exams, and by the sounds of things I'll have to repeat the entire final year if I do want to complete the course. I don't think I could be bothered doing it all over again. Anyway, I'll have to go home in a few days, as no doubt the bills have been piling up in my postbox since the day I left. I really need to get back before they cut everything off and evict me. Thanks for being there for me once again, Alex. But it's so typical of us for a tragedy to finally get us together. Love, Rosie. From Rosie to Alex. Subject: Dad. I just returned home from Connemara to be greeted by an overflowing mailbox. Among a pile of bills was the following letter. It was posted the day before Dad died.
Dear Rosie, your mum and I are still laughing from your last letter about Katie's tattoo. I do love it when you write to us. I hope you're over the trauma of your daughter becoming a fully fledged teen. I remember the day that happened with you. I think it hit you before Stephanie. You were always eager to try new things and go new places, my fearless Rosie. I thought that when you finished school you were going to set off around the world and we would never see you again. I'm glad that didn't happen. You were always a delight to have around the house. You and Katie. I'm only sorry we had to leave you when you needed us both. Your mum and I questioned our actions time and time again. I hope we did the right thing. I know you always felt that you were in the way or that you were letting us down, but that's far from the truth. It just meant that I got to see my little girl grow. Grow from being a baby to an adult and grow as a mother. You and Katie are a great team and she is a fine example of the good parenting she received. A bit of ink on her skin doesn't tarnish the goodness or dim the brightness that shines from her. A tribute to her mother. Life deals each of us a different set of cards, and out of all of us, there's no doubt that you received the toughest hand of all. But you shone through the tough times. You are a strong girl, and you grew even stronger when that Egypt of a man, what's his name your mother told me to say, let you down. You picked yourself up, dusted yourself off, and started all over again. Set up home with Katie, found yourself a new job, provided for your daughter, and did your dad proud once more. And now you're only days away from your exams. After all you went through, you'll now have a degree. I'll be proud watching you accept that scroll, Rosie. I'll be the proudest dad in the world. Love, Dad.
From Rosie to Alex. Subject, degree. There's no way I'm giving this college course up now. In the wise words of Johnny Logan, what's another year? I'm going to do these exams and I'm going to get this degree in hotel management. Dad wouldn't want himself to be the reason for me missing out. It's the goodbye I needed, Alex. What a wonderful, wonderful gift to be given.
From Julie to Rosie. Subject, staying with me. So you're staying with me another year then? I'll allow you. But after that, once you have your degree, I'm serious when I say I'm firing you. I'm 56 years old. I don't have much longer at this job to be waiting for you to fulfill your dreams. This year the courses will be a breeze. First, because you've done it before, and second, and more important, because you have the good wishes and pride of your father behind you. That's the best motivation a person could get. To Katie and Rosie. Good luck to the both of you in your exams. I'm praying for my girls. Love, Mum/Grandma.
To Rosie and Katie, my best friend and goddaughter. Best of luck in your exams. You will both excel, as you always do. Let me know how the first one goes. Love, Alex.
To Mum. Here we go. In a fortnight we'll both be free. Best of luck, Katie.
Exam results, Rosie done. Course, BA in Hotel Business Management. Subject, accounting, grade B. Computer applications and data summary, B. Economics, B. Hospitality, ethical and legal studies, B. Financial control and marketing, B. Human resource management, A. Enterprise development, A. Languages, Irish, A. Tourism and hospitality industry studies, A. Graduates qualify for membership for a period of professional internship in the hospitality industry. Rosie. Yes, 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 yes! Alex, I did it! I finally did it!
Alex. Rosie, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations.
From Rosie to Ruby. Subject, let's celebrate. Now we can definitely go out. By the way, Katie is coming out with us too, so get your dancing shoes on. She did brilliantly in her exams and got accepted to a few college business courses, but she's going to stick to her original idea of trying out DJing. Toby got enough points for dentistry in Trinity College, which is wonderful news, so overall everyone is happy, happy, happy. You know, when I was 18, I missed out on going to Boston, and I thought my world had ended. While all my friends were partying and studying, I was cleaning dirty nappies. I thought my dream was lost. Never in a million years did I think that I would be able to share this special moment with my teenage daughter. Everything does happen for a reason. I'll just be so sad to see my baby go away. The day I've been preparing for has finally arrived. Katie is spreading her wings and moving on. And I must do the same. I think I might be close to gathering enough money to buy that train ticket out of here. Rosie Dunn is leaving the station and moving on. Finally. Katie, my baby girl is moving away. I'm so proud of you, love. You are so brave to be doing this. Make sure your dad doesn't forget to feed and clothe you. I'll miss you so much. I loved having you here with me, but I hope I'm welcome to visit you lots. If you need me, just call and I'll come running. Lots of love, Mum. Dear Brian, this is a huge responsibility. Please take care of Katie and don't let her get up to anything stupid over there. You know what 18-year-old males are like. You yourself were one. Keep her away from them as best you can. She's over there to learn, not party and make babies. Let me know everything that's going on with her, even the stuff she's afraid to tell me. A mother needs to know. Please listen to her and be there for her all the time. If you even sense that something is wrong and she won't confide in you, just let me know and I'll subtly find out. And last but not least, thank you so much for giving my baby, our baby, her dream. Best wishes, Rosie.
Dear Rosie Dunn, congratulations on completing your BA in Hotel Business Management. We are pleased to inform you that your professional internship in the hospitality industry will be undertaken at the beginning of August. Each graduate's employment has been randomly selected and chosen by a computer without discrimination or prejudice, and all jobs are on an equal par with one another. Once a placement has been made, the graduate cannot change or demand another. The contract of 12 months is for the position of assistant manager and is to be held at the Grand Tower Hotel in Dublin City Centre. You are to begin on Monday, 1st of August at 9 a.m. For more information regarding your placement, please contact Cronin O'Kellick, manager and owner of the Grand Tower Hotel. The phone number, details and map of directions to the hotel are provided over leave. We wish you luck in your new venture and hope it brings you success in the future. Yours sincerely, Keith Richards, Hotel Business Management Course Director, St. Patrick's Primary School Night Courses.
You have an instant message from Ruby. Ruby, well, Ms. Assistant Manager, tell me all about it. How's work going?
Rosie, are you ready for a rant? Because if you're not, I'm giving you the opportunity now to get out of this conversation while you can.
Ruby, believe it or not, I came into this conversation prepared. Fire ahead.
Rosie. OK, so I arrived on the road the hotel was situated on nice and early and proceeded to walk up and down the street for 3/4 of an hour trying to find the very beautiful and grand Tower Hotel. I asked shop owners and stall owners, but none of them had any idea where this hotel was. After ringing the course director almost in tears and in a complete panic over the fact that I was late for my first day of work, I also succeeded in accusing him of giving me the wrong address. He kept on repeating the same address over and over again, which I told him couldn't be possible because the building in question was completely derelict. Eventually, he said he'd ring the hotel owner and double-check the directions with him, so I sat down on the filthy front steps of the derelict building, dirtying the bum of my new suit, and tried not to cry about how late I was and what a bad impression this was making. Suddenly, the door of the building behind me opened with a very loud farting noise at the hinges, and this thing looked out at me. The thing spoke in a very strong Dublin accent, introduced himself as Cronin Uchalich, the owner of the building, and insisted I call him Beanie. At first, I was confused by his nickname, but as the day wore on, it all became very clear. The hinges of the front door were not what made a farting sound. It was indeed the gaseous behind of Beanie. He brought me inside to the ancient, damp building and showed me around the few rooms on the ground level. He then asked me if I had any questions, and I, of course, wanted to know why I was in this particular building and when was I going to see the hotel. To which he replied proudly, "This is the bleeding hotel, nice wa." He then asked me if I had any ideas on how to improve the hotel after my first impression, and I suggested displaying the actual name of the hotel on the actual building so as to make it easier for the guests. Although not doing so was also a good marketing ploy. I also suggested spreading the word of its existence among the surrounding businesses so they could help advertise the hotel, or at least be able to help give directions to completely lost tourists. He studied my face very hard to see if I was being smart, which, by the way, I absolutely wasn't. If my ideas seemed ridiculous to him, then the fact that I had to even raise them was even more ridiculous. I'm currently waiting on a sign for the front of the hotel to arrive. He then gave me a name tag which he insisted I wear. His reason for me having to wear this was so that if customers needed to complain, they would know whom to blame. A very positive thinking man, as you can see. The problem with the name tag, other than having to wear it, was that he appeared to have misheard the spelling of my name over the phone. I have been walking around the entire week as Rosie Bum, something that Beanie seems to find incredibly humorous, although after he had gotten over his laughing fit, he was slightly disappointed. That alone is an example of his level of maturity and the seriousness with which he takes his job and general running of the so-called hotel. How it has remained open up until now is beyond me. It is one of those beautiful houses that in Victorian, Georgian, Edwardian times, they're all the same to me, would have been extremely grand, but that has been left to rot away. It's probably decaying underneath the floorboards with whatever else is causing the smell. It was once red-bricked but is now dirty brown. It has 4 levels, and on the underground level, I have now learned, is a lap dancing club also owned by Beanie. As you enter the ground level of the hotel, you are greeted by a tiny little desk made of dark mahogany wood, as is all the wood in the building. Behind it is a messy collection of former guests' hats, umbrellas and coats that are currently collecting dust. The walls are wood-panelled from the floor to halfway up the wall, which is a nice feature, and the walls, which were probably once a rich olive green colour, are now a more mouldy green. Small lantern-like lights adorn the walls and throw out absolutely no light at all. The place is like a dungeon. The carpets look like they were laid in the 70s. They're dirty and smelly and have cigarette burns, black patches of stuck-on chewing gum, and other stains, the smell of which I don't wish to know. This long corridor leads down to a large bar area which contains the same dirty, smelly carpet, dark wood, paisley-covered stools and chairs, and when the sun shines through the tiny paint-flaking window, all you can see is the air thick with wisps of smoke, probably still there from the old man who used to sit there with his pipe 200 years ago. The dining area has 20 tables and a limited menu. It has the same carpet, except it has the added feature of food stains. There are brown velvet curtains and net blinds. The tables are covered in what was once white but now yellow lace tablecloth with rusty, food-stained cutlery. The glasses are misty, the walls are white, which makes it the only room with light, but no matter how much the heat is turned up, it feels cold. Oh, but the smell! It's like somebody died and was left to decay. It has since been absorbed into the furniture, the walls, and into my clothes. There are 60 rooms, 20 on each floor. Beanie proudly announced that half of them are en suite. Oh, you could imagine how happy I was to hear that, thinking immediately that I should ring up the TV and radio stations to advertise this wonderful feature. The fact that some bedrooms have bathrooms. 2 wonderful women, Betty and Joyce, each aged about 100 years old, clean the rooms 3 times a week, which frankly I find rather disgusting. And given how slowly they move, I'd be surprised if they cleaned the rooms even that often. I was also beginning to wonder what kind of customers a hotel like this would attract, but it all became clear to me as I worked the late shift one night. As the lap dancing club finished downstairs, the party continued upstairs. This gave me all the more reason to employ more chambermaids. The place is far from being luxurious, and I'm far from being the wonderful host welcoming the guests to paradise as I so desired to be. The only way someone would find a chocolate on their pillow is if the previous guest spit it out. Rosie. Ruby? Rosie. Ruby, are you there? Rosie. Hello? Ruby, did you get all that?
Ruby. Z.
Ruby!
Oh, what? Did I miss something? Sorry, I must have nodded off about an hour ago when you started telling me about your job.
I'm sorry, Ruby, but I warned you.
Don't worry. I managed to wander off and make myself a cup of coffee and came back when you were talking about olive green walls and decomposing bodies.
Sorry, it's been one of those months.
Not all jobs turn out to be what you think they're going to be. Anyway, would you rather be a secretary at the Randy Andy Paperclip and Company? Or assistant manager of the Grand Tower Hotel?
Oh, definitely assistant manager of the Grand Tower Hotel.
Well, there you go, Rosie Bum. Life could be worse then, couldn't it?
I guess so.
Mother dearest, good news. Tony Spencer, an English bloke who owns Club Insomnia down the road, was here in Dad's club last night when I was doing my set, and he was so impressed he asked if I'd like to work for him. How cool is that? He also organises a few summer dance festivals, so I'll be off around Europe during the summer playing at those. I'm really excited. Club Insomnia is a really popular club, and it goes on till about 6 or 7 in the morning. I'll only be on the decks from about 10 p.m. till midnight just to get started. He pays really well though, and as soon as I get my first decent cheque, I'll send some home to you. I've met a really cool crowd of people over here who are also just out of school a few years and are doing bar work. Me and 3 other girls, Jennifer, Lucy and Sarah, are talking about renting an apartment together. I don't know when John is coming over. Ever since he started college in September, he's been out all night every night with a bunch of people I've never heard of. He keeps bumping against his phone and accidentally ringing me when he's out, and all I can ever hear are loads of drunken people screaming in the background. It's just been really weird with the 2 of us. Only more so every time we meet up after weeks apart. It's not the same at all, and I don't like it. I thought I'd be with him forever, but the rate we're going, I can barely imagine being with him until the end of the summer. He's annoying me that much. Meanwhile, I haven't heard from Toby in a long, long time. It's entirely my fault, because he rang me loads of times at the beginning when I moved over here, And it was my turn to start making an effort. But time just ran away. I keep on saying I'll call him tomorrow, but it's been months. The last time I spoke to him, he was having a great time at college. I hope everything at work is okay. I can't believe you got your contract extended. I thought you hated the place. Let me know what's going on there. I'm confused. Anyway, I better go and figure out what tracks I'm doing tonight. Dad's giving me a 2-hour set just to prepare me for insomnia. Miss you. Love, Katie. You have an instant message from Ruby. Ruby, how's your mom?
Rosie, not great.
Ruby, that's a shame.
Rosie, it is. It just seems that bit by bit everything is failing on her. Her arthritis has gotten so bad now that she's almost crippled. It wasn't so much of a problem when she and Dad were travelling because then they had the hot weather. Now though, I don't think cold Connemara is really the best place for her, but she won't move from there. I'm worried for her. She's in and out of hospital with infections and problems with parts of her body that I didn't even know existed. It's as if when Dad died, her body just gave up.
She's a toughie though, Rosie. She'll pull through.
Let's hope.
How are things at Faulty Towers?
Ha! Well, I won't have to put up with the place for much longer because I'm leaving at the end of the month.
You say that every month and you never do. You might as well just wait until your contract is up next year and then leave. Anyway, unless you actually look for another job, you're not going anywhere.
Between working all hours and travelling back and forth to Mum, I just don't have time. It's ridiculous. I have no life. I really want to go visit Katie, and Alex has invited me over to him loads of times, but I can't do any of those things.
When your mother gets better, everything will be a lot easier.
She's not going to get better, Ruby. She doesn't want to get better. She's just waiting now. She's practically wheelchair-bound at this stage, and she's only 68. Anyway, we'll just have to keep on going.
From Alex to Katie. Subject, surprise 40th. I don't know where you are in the world right now, but I hope you're still checking your emails. Seeing as your mum is going to be 40 next month and you are going to be 21, I thought it would be a good idea to have a double birthday party. But I was hoping that we could fly you home and surprise your mum with a party. You can invite all your friends and we can organise all of Rosie's friends too. Perhaps we can bring Ruby in on this too for help. Let me know if you think it's a good idea. Knowing Rosie the way I do, I think she would love it.
Rosie, I'm 40 in a few days, Ruby. 40. The big 4-0.
So?
So it's old.
Then what does that make me? Ancient?
Oh, sorry. You know what I mean.
No, not really.
Well, we're not exactly 20 years old, are we?
No, thank God for that. Because if that was the case, I would have to go through a shit marriage and a divorce all over again. We would have to go out and look for jobs, be all uncertain about our lives, care about dating and how we look and what car we're driving, what music we're playing in it, what we wear, whether we'll get into certain clubs or not, blah, 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 blah. What's so good about being 20? I call them the materialistic years, the years we get distracted by all the bullshit. Then we cop on when we hit our 30s and spend those years trying to make up for the 20s. But your 40s, those years are for enjoying it.
Good point. What are the 50s for?
Fixing what you fucked up on in your 40s.
Great, looking forward to it.
Oh, don't worry, Rosie. You don't need to make a song and dance about the fact the world has spun around the sun one more time. We should just take it as a given by now. So what do you want to do for your 40th?
Nothing.
Good plan. Why don't we go down to my local on Friday night for one too many?
Sounds perfect.
Oh, hold on though. It's Teddy's brother's birthday that night too, and we're all gathering in the Berkeley Court Hotel.
Oh, very snazzy. I love that hotel. Would you rather change it to Saturday night then?
No! Will you collect me from the hotel and we can head to the pub together?
Why don't I just wait for you at the pub?
Because if you come and meet me, Then they'll know that I actually do have plans and I'm not lying and trying to get away from them. Besides, if you're not there to drag me away, they'll never let me leave.
What time should I pick you up?
8 p.m.
8 p.m? Are you joking? What time does it start?
7:30 p.m.
Ruby, you'll have to stay a lot longer than that. I'm not arriving to take you away after only a half an hour. Everyone would think I'm so rude. I'll come at 9:30 p.m. At least that way you'll have 2 hours.
No, you have to come at 8 p.m.
Why?
Well, for one thing, the party is in the penthouse suite of the Berkeley Court Hotel.
Oh my God, why didn't you just say so? I'll be there at 7:30 p.m.
No, you can't.
What is wrong with you? Why can't I?
Because you're not invited, and they'll think you've a cheek just turning up like that. If you come at 8 p.m, you can quickly see the place and then leave.
Oh, but I want to stay at the penthouse. Have you any idea how much that would mean to me?
Yes, I do. But I'm sorry, you can't stay. Anyway, once you meet the rest of Teddy's family, you'll want to leave straight away.
OK, fine. But I hope you know that you're breaking my heart and I don't care what you say. Anything in the bathrooms that isn't stuck to the floor is going in my handbag. Actually, I think I'll bring my camera.
Rosie, it's a birthday party. I'm sure lots of people will have cameras.
Yes, I know, but I'll take some photos for Katie too. She'd love to see what it looks like. I was hoping she would be able to come over, but she can't. Bless her, she works so hard. It's her 21st birthday a few weeks after me, and I was hoping we could celebrate it together, but unfortunately it's not to be. Mum is going over to stay with Stephanie again, so she'll miss it as well. So it will just be you and me once again, but at least this year I'll get to sneak a peek at the penthouse suite. I'll steal a few ideas for my own hotel. What a treat.
Looking forward to seeing the look on your face when that happens, Rosie. See you at 8 p.m, room 440. Penthouse suite, 440. Surprise, Rosie. Happy birthday, Rosie and Katie. Happy 40th, Rosie. I had a wonderful weekend at your party. We really did surprise you, didn't we? It broke my heart pretending to you that I was staying with Stephanie, but it was worth it to see the look on your face and the tears in your eyes. Alex arranged the entire thing. He's a lovely, lovely man, Rosie. Shame about the wife, though. I always thought you and he would get together when you were children. Silly, isn't it? Anyway, thank you for being a wonderful daughter and for all of your help over the past few years. Your father would be proud of you. I'll be sure to tell him all about you when I see him. You are a beautiful young woman, Rosie Dunn. Your father and I did well. Lots of love, Mum.
Happy 70th, Mum. You made it to the big 7-0 and you look as beautiful as ever. We'll have you out of hospital as quick as we can. In the meantime, here are some grapes to make you feel really sick. Love you always and forever, Mum. Love, Rosie.
Hi, Kev. Steph here. Can't get you on the phone. You might want to come to Connemara now. It's time.
Hi, love. Get in touch with your dad ASAP. He's booked you a flight home tomorrow. I know it's short notice, but Grandma has been asking for you. Kev will collect you from airport to bring you here. See you tomorrow. Love, Mum. Dunn, née O'Sullivan, Connemara, County Galway and formerly Dundrum, Dublin 10. Alice, beloved wife of Dennis and loving mother of Stephanie, Rosie and Kevin. Will be missed by her grandchildren Katie, Jean-Louis and Sophia, son-in-law Pierre, brother Patrick and sister-in-law Sandra. Removal at 4:45 p.m. today from Stafford's funeral home to Achterard Church, Connemara. May she rest in peace.
You have an instant message from Steph. Steph, how's my baby sister holding up?
Rosie. Oh, hi, Steph. I'm not sure. There's an eerie silence in my world these days. I find myself switching on the TV and the radio just to fill the background. Katie had to head back to work. People have stopped ringing and calling around to offer their sympathies. Everything is calming down now and I'm left with this silence. I'm not quite sure what to do with myself on my days off now. I'm so used to hopping on the bus and travelling over to Mum in the West. Life is strange now. Before, even when she lay in bed looking frail and weak, she still managed to make me feel safe. Mothers do that, don't they? Their very presence can help. And even if I ended up mothering her in the final days, she still was taking care of me. I miss her.
Steph, I do too. And at the oddest times too. It's only when you get back to the normal routine of life that you really feel it. I keep on having to remind myself that when the phone rings it's not her, or when I get a free moment in the day, I pick up the phone to call her, and then I remember that she's not there to call. It's such an odd feeling.
Yeah, it is. Kevin is still in a huff with me.
Ignore Kevin. He's in a huff with the entire world.
Maybe he's right though, Steph. Mum has put me in such an awkward position by leaving me the house. Perhaps I should sell it and split the profits 3 ways. It's fairer.
Rosie Dunn, you will not sell that house for me and Kev. She left it for you for a reason. Kev and I are both financially secure. We both have houses. We really don't need the Connemara house. It would be different if we were both broke, but Mum knows that me and Kev are okay, so that's why it was left to you. You work harder than the two of us put together, and you still can't get out of that flat. Mum discussed it with me before, and I agreed with her. This is the best way. Don't listen to Kev.
I don't know, Steph. I'm not hugely comfortable with it.
Rosie, trust me. If I needed the money so badly, I would tell you and we could work something out. But I don't. Neither does Kevin. It's not like we were forgotten about in the will. We're both fine, honestly. The house in Connemara belongs to you. You do with it whatever you wish.
The Grand Tower Hotel, Tower Road, Dublin 1. Dear Mr. Cronin O'Kelly, following our visit to the Grand Tower Hotel, we at the Department of Public Works are sending you an emergency order due to an imminent and substantial hazard to the life, health and safety of occupants. After their visit last week, the Department of Building Inspection listed more than 100 code violations, including missing smoke detectors, water damage and inadequate lighting. The bathrooms are noted as being unsanitary, and during our visit, rodents were spotted in the kitchens. According to our records, you have received many warnings over the years to improve the maintenance of the building, and you are advised to make the necessary improvements in order to keep the building acting as a hotel. These warnings were ignored, and we have no choice but to shut you down. The business on the ground level may remain open. Please be in touch with our offices as soon as you receive this letter. Details of the Health and Safety Act are overleaf. Yours sincerely, Adam Delaney, Office of Public Works.
From Katie to Mum. Subject, your job. I'm so sorry to hear about you losing your job. I know you hated it, but still it's never nice to have to leave when it's not your own decision. I couldn't reach you on the phone. You've either been on the phone all day or they've cut you off. Either way, I thought I'd email you instead. I completely forgot to tell you that when we returned to Dublin after the funeral, that what's-his-name called around to the flat to see you. I didn't want to call you because you were upset enough as it was, so I took a message. He dropped in some post that had been delivered to his house for you, and said that he hoped that they would be some sort of help to you now that your mum and dad are gone. He said he understood how you felt, as his mum died last year, and he didn't want to be the cause of your loneliness. He seemed sincere, but who can ever tell with him? It was odd seeing him after so many years. He's really aged. Anyway, I hope whatever is in the envelopes isn't too important, but let me know what they are all the same. I left the 2 envelopes in the bottom drawer of the living room cabinet.
Dr. Reginald and Miranda Williams invite Rosie Dunn to join them in celebrating the marriage of their beloved daughter Bethany Williams to Dr. Alex Stewart at the Memorial Church of Harvard University, and a reception at the Boston Harbour Hotel on the 28th of December. RSVP Miranda Williams. Rosie, I'm returning to Boston tomorrow, but before I go, I wanted to write this letter to you. All the thoughts and feelings that have been bubbling up inside me are finally overflowing into this pen, and I'm leaving this letter for you so that you don't feel that I'm putting you under any great pressure. I understand that you will need to take your time trying to decide on what I am about to say. I know what's going on, Rosie. You're my best friend, and I can see the sadness in your eyes. I know that Greg isn't away working for the weekend. You never could lie to me. You were always terrible at it. Don't pretend that everything is perfect, because I see what's going on. I see that Greg is a selfish man who has absolutely no idea just how lucky he is, and it makes me sick. He is the luckiest man in the world to have you, Rosie, but he doesn't deserve you, and you deserve far better. You deserve someone who loves you, with every single beat of his heart, someone who thinks about you constantly, someone who spends every minute of every day just wondering what you're doing, where you are, who you're with, and if you're okay. You need someone who can help you reach your dreams and who can protect you from your fears. You need someone who will treat you with respect, love every part of you, especially your flaws. You should be with someone who can make you happy, really happy, dancing on air happy. Someone who should have taken the chance to be with you years ago instead of becoming scared and being too afraid to try. I'm not scared anymore, Rosie. I am not afraid to try. I know what that feeling was at your wedding. It was jealousy. My heart broke when I saw the woman I love turning away from me to walk down the aisle with another man she planned to spend the rest of her life with. It was like a prison sentence for me, years ahead without me being able to tell you how I feel or hold you how I wanted to. Twice we stood beside each other at the altar, Rosie. Twice. And twice we got it wrong. I needed you to be there for my wedding day, but I was too stupid to see that I needed you to be the reason for my wedding day. But we got it all wrong. I should never have let your lips leave mine all those years ago in Boston. I should never have pulled away. I should never have panicked. I should never have wasted all those years without you. Give me a chance to make them up to you. I love you, Rosie, and I want to be with you and Katie and Josh. Always. Please think about it. Don't waste your time on Greg. This is our opportunity. Let's stop being afraid and take the chance. I promise I'll make you happy. All my love, Alex.
From Ruby to Rosie. Subject: Are you okay? I haven't heard from you in almost 2 weeks. Is everything okay? I called around to see you at the flat, but Rupert told me you had gone to Galway. You just packed up and left without saying goodbye. Something must be up. How long are you planning on staying there? And why didn't you tell anyone? Your mother's phone has obviously been disconnected, so I didn't know how else to reach you. I understand that you probably just need some time to yourself. Losing parents is really difficult. As much as I complain about how mine were, it was still tough dealing with their loss. I know I joke around a lot, but I'm seriously here for you, Rosie, if you need someone to talk to, a shoulder to cry on, or even someone to scream at. I would say I'm sorry that you lost your job at the hotel, but I'm not sorry at all. You were better than that hotel. You had bigger dreams that extended far beyond those crumbling walls. Now the world is your oyster. Please just respond to let me know you're okay, or I'm coming down there myself to check up on you, and that's not a threat, it's a promise. Ruby, what do you mean you're moving to Galway?
Rosie, I mean exactly that. I'm leaving that horrible flat in Dublin once and for all, and I'm moving to Connemara for good.
But why?
Ruby, there's nothing there for me in Dublin, apart from you, of course. I have had a string of unsatisfactory jobs, have no family there, had my heart broken twice there, have no money and no man. I don't see a reason why I should stay.
Well, forgive me for being the bearer of bad news, but you have no job in Galway, no family, and no man, unless you're going to take to herding sheep.
Ah, yes, the common city person's misconception of the country. There are shops and restaurants here too, you know. Anyway, I may not have all those things, but I have a house.
Have you gone nuts, Rosie?
Probably, but think about it. I have a great big modern-built 4-bedroom house right on the coast in Connemara.
Exactly. What are you going to do all on your own with no job in a 4-bedroom house in Connemara?
I'm opening up a bed and breakfast. And I know I've always said I hate B&Bs, but I'm planning on turning the house more into my own mini hotel, and I am going to be manager, owner extraordinaire.
Wow!
What do you think?
I think that... Wow! I can't think of anything sarcastic to say, actually. I think that's a great idea. Are you sure you want to do this?
Ruby, I've never been surer in my life. I've done my research. With my inheritance from Mum and Dad, I can afford the insurance. I've asked all the B&Bs around and the place is crawling with tourists. It's a bit tough in November and December, but they generally make enough in the rest of the months to get through that. The area is beautiful. The coastline is dramatic and rugged. The boglands have a foggy mysteriousness to them. The sea just crashes and whips against the cliffs, letting everyone who lives here know who's boss. It's just nature and all the elements at their best. Who wouldn't want to come here? Who wouldn't want to live here?
Well, I wouldn't, but I appreciate what you're saying. I think it's a great idea, Rosie. Congratulations, you little genius. I hope that whatever it was that sent you packing isn't going to chase you away any farther.
Rosie Dunn will be your hostess in Buttercup House. The building is a modern 4-bedroom home approved by Bord Fáilte, the Irish Tourist Board. All of the rooms are en suite with private baths and toilets. Double, twin and family rooms are all available. The rooms are centrally heated and there is a telephone in each room. Buttercup House is the ideal location to explore Connemara, enjoy hill walking, mile-long sandy beaches, angling, fishing in Loch Corrib, Ireland's largest natural inland watermass, a favourite with fishermen for salmon and brown trout. Scuba diving, sailing and surfing are accessible along the coastline. Connemara National Park is a 2,000-hectare state-owned conservation centre with mountains, bogs, grasslands and spectacular wildlife. The television lounge is comfortably furnished with log fire, board games and plenty of books for our guests to relax with after their active days. Breakfast is served in the dining room, and the conservatory offers panoramic views of the mountains and Atlantic Ocean. Contact Rosie Dunn to make your reservation now.
Dear Rosie, I just wanted to know if everything between us is okay. You've been sounding a little, well, odd on the phone lately. Have I done something to upset you in any way? I can't think of anything that I may have said to piss you off, but do let me know. It seems I have to do nothing these days in order to succeed in upsetting the women in my life. Bethany starts a fight with me if I even look at her these days. If I have unintentionally done the same to you, Rosie, please let me know. Bethany is going crazy about organising Theo's 10th birthday party next week. She's invited more of her own friends than Theo's. And Josh keeps stealing my car and driving it around all night with his new girlfriend. She's a sweet girl, but I don't know what she sees in my son, that's for sure. He's a madman. I can't seem to get him to settle down and study. I sounded like my own dad just then. He's supposed to be starting college next September, but considering the fact he hasn't applied for anywhere and can't figure out what he wants to do other than drive my car, I'm presuming that he'll be taking a year out before he heads off to educate himself further. Luckily, Theo thinks Josh is nuts. He's actually afraid of him. So we're hoping that Theo can be the son that we can talk about and admit to having. That, of course, is a joke. Things at the hospital are going well. I'm still doing the same old thing, but my life has been made massively easier due to the retirement of Reginald Williams. I can breathe now without having to explain it. Working with your father-in-law is as advisable as living with his daughter. Joking, once again, of course. Well, kind of, but we won't go into that. I have to go now, but I wanted to make sure things were okay between us. The brochure for the B&B looks fantastic. I wish you well with it, Rosie. You deserve the best. Love, Alex.
From Rosie to Alex. Subject: sorry. I apologise for sounding off with you on the phone. I was a little distracted by a few things that popped up from the past in my life that I was previously unaware of. They were holding me back for a little while, but they've let go of me now and I'm back on course. I'm ready to move on and spend the next 10 years of my life tending to my quest for greatness and happiness. You are more than welcome to stay with me whenever you are ready to.
From Alex to Rosie. Subject: thank you. Thank you very much for that generous offer, Rosie. I'll be sure to take you up on that whenever my wife isn't looking.
From Rosie to Alex. Now, are you flirting with me, Alex Stewart?
From Alex to Rosie. Why, Rosie Dunn, I do believe I am. Get in touch with me in 10 years' time when your quest for greatness has reached its pinnacle.
You have an instant message from Katie. Katie. Happy birthday, Mum. How does it feel to be 50?
Rosie. Hot.
Katie. Are you having another flush?
Yes. How does it feel to be almost 31? Any sign of my only daughter settling down, getting a decent job and giving me grandchildren?
I'm not sure. Although there was a little baby boy playing on the beach making sandcastles this morning, and for the first time ever I thought it was cute. It's possible that I'm coming around to the rest of the world's way of thinking.
Well, that sounds hopeful. I thought dreams of you getting a respectable job would have to die, but you've given me hope. Perhaps I can start telling people I actually have a daughter now.
Funny. How's the B&B going?
Busy, thank God. I was just in the middle of updating the website when you messaged me. Buttercup House now has 7 ensuite bedrooms.
I know. The place looks terrific. Oh my God! I almost forgot to tell you. You'll never guess who I met in the club last night.
Well, if I'll never guess, I don't think I want to play this game.
Toby Quinn.
Never heard of him. Is he an old boyfriend?
Mum? Toby Quinn. Toby.
I don't see how repeating his name is going to help.
My best friend from school. Toby.
Oh, my lord, Toby! How is the little pet?
He's fine. He's working as a dentist in Dublin, just like he wanted. And he's over here in Ibiza for a holiday for 2 weeks. It was so weird seeing him after 10 years, but he hasn't changed a bit.
Oh, that's fabulous. Tell him I was asking for him, will you?
I will. He had lots of lovely things to say about you. Actually, I'll be seeing him again tonight. We're going out for dinner.
Is it a date?
No, I couldn't date Toby. It's Toby. We're just going to catch up.
Whatever you say, Katie, dear.
Honestly, Mum, I couldn't date Toby. He used to be my best friend. It would be too odd.
I don't see anything wrong with dating your best friend.
Mum, it would be like you dating Alex.
Well, I would think that would be perfectly normal too.
Mum?
What? I don't see the big deal. Anyway, have you been speaking to Alex lately?
Yeah, just yesterday. He's on the couch again, so to speak. Bethany is tormenting him again. Honestly, I think they're both stupid to wait until Theo heads off to college.
Well, they were both stupid for getting married in the first place. You know what Theo is like, though, Katie. He's such a softy. His parents breaking up would break his little heart. But he's going to have to deal with it from Paris at art college, so I'm not quite sure why they feel that will be better for him.
Well, the sooner the better. They're a match made in hell, I've said it all along. Josh says he can't wait for Alex and her to split up. He can't stand her.
Well, they lasted longer than anyone thought they would. Tell Josh I said hi.
Will do. I better go and tell Alex about Toby. He'll never believe it. Don't work too hard on your birthday, Mum. You have an instant message from Ruby. Ruby, what are you up to?
Rosie, I'm just taking a break from clearing away all the dust from the builders. Honestly, have they ever heard of the words vacuum cleaner?
No, and neither have I. Is it a new invention? How is the new wing looking?
Oh, it's great, Ruby. I'll have so much more privacy now. I can stick to my side of the house and the guests can have theirs. I've decorated a room just the way you like it so it can be yours when you stay. Let me know when you can come over. I'm heading off out with Sean tonight.
Again? Well, this is really becoming a regular occurrence indeed.
He's a lovely man and I really enjoy his company. Even though the house is always full of strangers, I can still feel alone, so it's nice to be able to meet up with him once in a while.
I know what you mean. He seems a real gentleman, all right.
He is.
I read in the newspaper that Alex's marriage had ended. It was in some silly gossip page.
Ruby, his marriage barely even started, never mind ended. Unfortunately for him.
How do you feel about it?
Sad for him. Happy for him.
Now you can tell me the truth. How do you really feel? From Katie to Mum. Subject: Oh, Mum. Oh, Mum. Oh, my God, Mum. The most bizarre thing has happened. I've never felt so odd in my whole entire life. Forgive me for speaking like a 12-year-old, but that's exactly how I feel right now. Last night was the weirdest night of my life. I met up with Toby and we went to dinner at Raoul's restaurant in the old part of town. In order to get there, we had to walk up a really steep cobbled stone hill, passing by women dressed in black from head to toe, who were just sitting on wooden chairs outside their houses, enjoying the warmth and silence. The place only had a few tables, and as we were the only tourists there, I almost felt bad for intruding, but they were so friendly, and there was such a good atmosphere. It's not a part of the island that my job allows me to see very often, unfortunately. The manager of Toby's hotel suggested the restaurant, and it was such a good choice, because it sat high on a mountain top overlooking the island on one side and the sea on the other. The air was warm, the stars were twinkling, a man played on the violin in the corner. It was like something out of a movie, only it was so much better, because it felt real, and it was happening to me. We chatted and chatted and chatted for hours until well after we had finished eating, and eventually we were asked to leave at 2 a.m. I don't think I've ever laughed so much in my life. We continued talking as we strolled along the beach, and the air felt so magical. We talked about old times and caught up on new times. Mum, I don't know if it was the wine, or the heat, the food, or just my hormones, but there were some forces in motion last night. Toby touched my arm, and I felt all zingy from head to toe. I'm almost 31 years old, and I've never felt that before. And then there was this silence. This really weird silence. We stared at each other as though we were seeing each other for the very first time. It was like the world stopped turning just for us. An odd, magical silence. The very same one that you told me you had with someone all those years ago. Then he kissed me. Toby kissed me. And it was the best kiss I have ever had in all my 30 years. My legs nearly buckled from underneath me. It felt so odd that it was Toby that I was kissing, but in another way, it felt completely natural. And I think that's what the odd thing was about it, if you know what I mean. We spent all day together again today, and my stomach is doing somersaults at the thought of seeing him again tonight. I now know what all my friends were talking about when they tried to describe this feeling. It's so good, it's indescribable. Dad kept teasing me for walking around with a silly grin on my face all day. Toby asked me to move back to Dublin, Mum. Not to live with him, of course, but just so that we could be closer. And do you know what? I think I'm going to. Why the hell not? I'll throw caution to the wind and leap into the darkness and all those clichés, and we'll see where I land. Because if I don't follow this feeling right now, who knows where I will be 20 years on from now? How crazy does all this seem? What a 24 hours it's been.
From Rosie to Katie. Subject: yes. Oh, it's not crazy at all, Katie. It's really not crazy at all. Enjoy it, love. Enjoy every second of it.
From Katie to Alex. Subject: in love. So Mum was right, Alex. You can fall in love with your best friend. Who knew? I've packed everything up and I'm heading home to Dublin with my heart filled with love and hope and my head filled with dreams. Mum told me about the silence she experienced years ago. She kept telling me when I felt that silence with someone, it meant they were the one. I was beginning to think she made it up, but she didn't. This magical silence exists.
You have an instant message from Alex. Alex. Phil. She felt the silence too.
Who, what, where, when?
Rosie. She felt that silence too, all those years ago.
Oh, the dreaded silence thing is back to haunt us, is it? I haven't heard you talk about that for years.
I knew I wasn't imagining it, Phil.
Well then, what are you doing talking to me? Get off the internet, you fool, and pick up the phone. Or the pen.
Alex has logged off. My dear Rosie, unbeknownst to you, I took this chance before, many, many years ago. You never received that letter. And I'm glad because my feelings since then have changed dramatically. They have intensified with every passing day. I'll get straight to the point because if I don't say what I have to say now, I fear it will never be said. And I need to say it. Today I love you more than ever. Tomorrow I will love you even more. I need you more than ever. I want you more than ever. I'm a man of 50 years of age coming to you, feeling like a teenager in love, asking you to give me a chance and love me back. Rosie Dunn, I love you with all my heart. I've always loved you, even when I was 7 years old and lied about falling asleep on Santa watch. When I was 10 years old and didn't invite you to my birthday party. When I was 18 and had to move away. Even on my wedding days. On your wedding day. On christenings, birthdays, and when we fought. I loved you through it all. Make me the happiest man on this earth by being with me. Please reply to me. All my love, Alex. Rosie read the letter for what seemed like the millionth time in her life, folded it into 4 neat squares and slid it back into the envelope. Her eyes panned across her collection of letters, greeting cards, email printouts, chat room printouts, faxes and scribbled notes from her school days. There were hundreds of them spread across the floor, each telling its own tale of triumph or sadness, each letter representing a phase in her life. She had kept them all. She sat on the sheepskin rug in front of a fire in her bedroom in Connemara and continued to take in the array of words spread out before her. Her life in ink. She had spent the entire night reading back over them, and her back ached from stooping, and her eyes stung. Stung from the tiredness and tears. People she had loved had so vividly come alive in her head during those hours, as she read their fears, emotions and thoughts that had once been so real, but that were now gone from her life. Friends that had come and gone, workmates, schoolmates, lovers, and family members. She had relived her life all over again that night in a matter of hours. Without her even noticing, the sun had risen, the seagulls were dancing around the sky, calling with excitement as their meals were thrown around by the angry sea. The waves crashed against the rocks, threatening to come further. Grey clouds hung like smoke rings outside her window. The bell from the front desk downstairs rang loudly. Rosie tutted and glanced at her watch. 6:15. A guest had arrived. She rose to her feet slowly, wincing at the pain of being crouched in the same position for hours. She held on to her bedpost and pulled herself up onto her feet. She slowly straightened her back. The bell rang again. Her knees cracked. "Ouch! Coming!" she called out, trying to hide the irritation in her voice. She carefully tiptoed between the mess of letters scattered around the rug, trying not to step on the important papers she had saved all her life. She rushed down the stairs. She felt her toe hit against the luggage that had stupidly been placed by the end stair. She felt herself falling forward, and then a hand grab her firmly by the arm to steady her. "I'm so sorry," the man apologised, and Rosie's head shot up. She took in the man that stood before her, nearly 6 feet in height, with dark hair that had greyed along the sides. His skin was tired and wrinkled around the eyes and mouth. His eyes looked tired, as would anybody's who had just spent 4 hours in a car to Connemara after a 5-hour flight. But those eyes sparkled, and they glistened as the moisture inside them began to well up. Rosie's eyes replied, and filled up also. The grip on her arm tightened. It was him. Finally, it was him. The man who had written the final letter she had read that morning, begging her for an answer. Of course, after she had received it, it hadn't taken her long to reply at all. And as the magical silence once again embraced them, after almost 50 years, all they could do was look at each other and smile.